Madhavji, if you wouldn't mind, can you please tell our audience here in BlockShow Asia in Singapore who you are and what you do, and more importantly, why you are here?
Absolutely. So I'm ALY MADHAVJI. I'm the managing partner of Blockchain Founders Fund.
My name is Mansoor Madhavji, and I'm a partner on Blockchain Founders Fund.
And as I understand it, gentlemen, you have two companies here.
Yeah, so there's two companies at BlockShow Asia that we're investing in. So the first is Dero. It's a KYC and AML solution that's pretty revolutionary in our opinion. I've spent months and months and months hiring, looking at KYC and AML solutions when I originally started my exchange, for example, a couple of years ago. And
the exchanges?
I started an exchange originally called Global DCX, and we rebranded it to being called Aluma.
Okay.
And we just see a lot of issues with the way KYC and AML is done online. I don't think it actually works.
Okay.
And so we think that this might be one of the first solutions that could be trusted, not only in the crypto space, but literally across banks or other entities that need to be doing KYC and AML to trust online documents. And so it's just done in a completely different way, rather than taking these crazy photos and having the ability to Photoshop things and all of this. So it's a pretty interesting solution. They've got a ton of patents on it. They're clearly industry experts at their field, and so we're pretty excited by that.
Okay.
And additionally, we see a pathway for it to launch and go to market. First, with crypto exchanges and other projects in the crypto industry, but then the broader fintech world and then beyond that. And so it just made a lot of sense. And in terms of the valuation and what they were asking for, it wasn't some number in the stratosphere. It was, this is how much money we need to actually, complete our project to get to our pilot, test it out. It was a very reasonable ask, and they had already previously raised half of that, so we kind of put in some as well.
Okay. And the second company that was in the competition, do you mind, tell me about your feelings about the competition after you tell me about the second company in here, because to have two companies you invested in the competition here at BlockShow, it says a lot about your investment prowess, huh?
Yeah, so I mean, straight off of that, right? I mean, investment honestly has been slower right now, but these are equity-based. I mean, they're STO investments, but they're equity-based STOs, and so the valuations are sound. They are real companies that are developing real solutions. So, I mean, for us, the equity side of it is still good. I mean, it's not a utility token. That market's obviously struggling right now.
Right.
But why don't you talk about health decks?
Yeah, so previously I was in equities analysis, and so I did a lot of trades and investments in pharmaceutical companies, trading a lot of FDA approvals. So I'm very familiar with the spending on R&D in pharmaceutical and developing of new drugs. And these guys have a great background in healthcare and health tech. The second company. So it's called Health Decks.
Health Decks, great.
And so they have relationships already, the partnership secured with hospitals and a handful of other providers of the health data.
Okay.
And they have relationships with the buyers as well, which would be the pharmaceuticals.
Take a step. Which service are they providing?
So they're a health data exchange platform.
Okay.
So currently the market for health data is very fragmented, right? So a hospital would try to sell a lot of this data to a pharmaceutical company. So this is anonymized data. This would be something completely different than the data that your own physician would try to access to better service you. This is more so trying to solve the problem for pharmaceuticals so that they can have a better R&D process, cut costs of their R&D by hypothesizing on new drugs earlier because they have larger data sets to test it on. Okay. So it's very much a back end kind of process that the public wouldn't see, but if this were
rewarded?
Yes, so I think so. It would mean a quicker time to development for new drugs, and additionally a lower cost on R&D, which theoretically would mean a lower cost for pharmaceutical drugs, but most likely the pharmaceutical companies are just going to have higher profits.
You know, and I'm just curious with such a sharing economy, right? This is what we're talking about when we look at the basis of what's truth, transparency, a sharing economy, for the work you put in. And if we've seen a lot about data breaches, a lot of money has, quite frankly, let's not play around, guys. A lot of money has been made off of corporations, off of data that should be shared with the individual. And has that come up at all with that in that particular program, that the participants, even though they are anonymous, will they be able to share inside that economy as well?
So from my understanding of how it works, this would be for, at least right now, the way the market operates, it's for larger data sets. Their plan, more longer term, is because the infrastructure doesn't exist for you to own your own data for the most part right now. So longer term, their plan is to move to a space where you do own your own data and you do allow access to pharmaceuticals or whatever to be able to use that data in an anonymized fashion. However, the way their plan is structured, it kind of serves the market now with, you know, a map to get to that point where the user does have control.
Okay, that's good. That is absolutely good to hear. So what are you looking for now that you've had the time at the show? We know the state of the market right now in November 2018. As you can tell, the attitude around the show doesn't essentially reflect that. We're dealing with folks who are steady, who are true and believe in their product and what they're bringing to the market. What are you looking for people to bring to you from the outside world as investment opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think there's a number of key things. So one, when we look at team, I want the founders and the team to be experts in their industry. Like they need to know what they're solving. And you can clearly see that from the two projects that we're investing in. Like these are experts. Like one is a medical doctor for 10 years, right? I mean, they know that space. And so clearly needs very strong experience on that front. I mean, the second thing that's very easy for us to use to filter out is governance and ethics. So looking at the way things are structured, so if there's a utility token, you know, how do you align in equity interests and utility token interests? You know, where is money going from that? What are the lockups? Like things like that are very easy for us to push things out. We're also looking for milestones as well as understanding what they've done in the past to get here. Like have they been bootstrapping? Have they really been grinding? Are they really developing this? What's happening? Do they have an MVP out? So we really care about these types of things and those signals, which to us can show whether or not this is going in the right direction.
Okay.
And maybe I'll add to that a little bit. So on the governance side, with the, you know, if they're having a token, a lot of times we're seeing that the token's only there, and this is this case of a utility, essentially to have people invest in the token to transfer value to equity holders. So the token could be used in the creation of one business line, but they'll use the funds to create 3 different revenue streams that just go to benefiting the equity holders. In which case, as an investor in that token, you would only realize a fraction of the actual growth of the project, right? So that would be highly flawed. And then the other one would be on cash flow projections. So one of the things we always ask for is cash flow projections. And most of the time when we ask for that, people say, well, this is crypto. You don't need cash flow projections.
You guys are operating, and you know, you remind me of the traditional New York, California VC mentality. and quite frankly, if more folks took that approach, not the majority, we need a healthy balance, right, of risk takers and well thought out business plans. I think that when we shook the tree, a lot of rotten fruit wouldn't have hit the floor if they looked at some of the best practices from the traditional VC community and then tailored that, knowing that we have crypto in mind, crypto anarchists. We want to revolutionize the world when it's really an evolution is what we're looking at. And so I applaud you on the way that you approach these and having 2 companies invested in our in our programs is it's a true testament to it.
Yeah, so let me just circle back and finish that thought on the cash flow projections. And the one thing, like, we know they're going to be wrong, right? No one's going to be able to project their cash flows correctly. But what we want to see is how they think about their business. What are the underlying assumptions that they have?
Right.
And then the milestones that they have should align with those cash flow projections, so that there's clear goals in terms of, like, okay, how much financing is needed on a month-to-month basis or until the next milestone's accomplished, so that we're able to better structure the investment. Because if there's, say, just an example, 200 or 300K being invested, maybe we know, like, in month 1, half of it goes in, but then in month 3 or month 4,
What's your burn rate? I want to know what's your real burn rate.
If you and we find so many crypto products don't even know this, and if they don't know that, I can guarantee you they're going bankrupt. Like, I mean, if you can't manage cash,
if you don't, for one, if you don't manage cash, how are you dealing with a store value of
exactly.
But with crypto, it's even harder, because not only do you have, like, the cash that you got to manage in fiat, there's also this whole element of, you know, ETH and Bitcoin and your own tokens. Like, you essentially need a very high qualified CFO to manage all of this.
I mean, do you understand the pivot tables? Your Excel chart should. Do you understand what that should really look like to set to know the levers and the pulls and how many things that will, not can, will go wrong in different markets? And do you have that aligned with the things that we know, the common denominators, the price, the lateral position of Bitcoin prices to the crypto? Are you even watching that for triggers? So I applaud you on the way that you guys are handling this.
So actually, one of the things I want to say is, I don't think a project should be managing their own ETH or Bitcoin reserves. Like, we're investing in them to work on their business. If they're managing the day-to-day and trading Bit and ETH coin, they're essentially not focusing on the business. Like, we actually really think that, and I know a lot of the crypto infrastructure is not created, but there are already services that do asset management and custodianship that essentially will manage their reserves, and based on a mandate provided by the project, give them the cash on hand that they need, so that they can focus on their business and let professionals handle liquidating the reserves of crypto.
I got to tell you, I love it. That is a great way to wrap this up. Gentlemen, if you ever need anything from BlockShow or Cointelegraph, please feel free to reach out to us. Can't wait to see you guys again, and know if you guys are going to dominate the field with all of your players on the board. So I look forward to speaking to you again and seeing what comes out of your lab.
Thanks for having us.
All right.